Hello. So we have the Maestro up, and I want to talk about like the buffs. I've never really done a video about Maestro buffs. Probably because it's wild, because I could figure out which ones are actually good or not. But this week is interesting because one of the buffs you have at the top here is at the speed of light, which is probably the most important buff, because the ability allows heroes to step from one world or to another, right? Like I said, speeds it up faster, so it's 5 seconds faster. So it's rank 3 this time instead of like a lot of times it's only like 2 seconds faster, whatever. Like so it's rank 3, so it's 150 points. So it's now like 5 seconds faster. So it pretty much halves time, because I think normally it's 12 seconds before you can change through worlds. Now it's going to be 7 seconds. This is a huge difference. Like I said, this is by far the most important buff. And yeah, like if you aren't familiar, like said, if you're like said how fast it is, it's normally 12 seconds. So let's just put a team up here and I'll show you like how much faster we can go. Let's see here, we'll do that. I need another I need Krista could work here. We just need somebody who's can sit up in front of Orion here. We could do Arachne. Wow, Arachne goes way up front. Oh my gosh, need to find someone. No, you want to use Motion Shroom for a different line. Gosh, so many of these heroes who sit too far back. I just need... We'll do Galahad. Galahad will work. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Now look how fast this is moving. Let's see. Alright, maybe it's a bit, maybe it's 15 seconds. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's 15 seconds is the normal. That I like, so I think maybe it's 12 seconds with like the tier 2 buff version. Yeah, we're doing this pretty much every 10 seconds. So I think it's 15 seconds is normal. As like I said, I think it's 12 seconds, like a lower tier buff. But yeah, reducing by 5 seconds is huge. Because now we are switching through the realms much faster. So there's a bunch of buffs that apply like when you switch realms. Like, so when you said, when stepping to the material worlds, here you receive healing. When heroes step in the material, they receive Harbinger's Blessing. When step in the material world, set, right? So there's all these buffs for when you switch worlds. Like I said, so being able to switch faster, greatly increases, like, the efficacy of those buffs. The material world, like I said, as you get 25% healing when you step in the material world, like, so it's like all these buffs, like I said, so you get to switch through these much faster and get a benefit from all of that. All right. Alright. Yeah, look, this is actually pretty good damage for the 150 boss here. And a lot of it's just being able to switch through between worlds faster. Makes this a lot better. Alright, so 17 million for 150 boss, not bad. Yeah, normally I don't get nearly that well with like with Orion on this, like said, even like on the 150 boss, but it's like being able to speed through the scenes, very good. And I said, and since we're doing this like here, I think it's good to talk about some of these other buffs here. and why that is, like I said, something like I said, why that matters. So obviously you have your gold buffs, you know, always max these out. Hands Orchestra, take more damage. Pet Patronage power, buff up, increase pet power, right? So you get to top set this more damage to the hands. You get more healing, right? So those are all good to do. But yeah, this is probably the best buff at the limit. So in the material world, heroes receive 200% basic attack damage back. It's healing. A lot of these debuff stuff, like you dispel them, like the stuns, by healing. Right, and interrupting requires 3 fewer control effects. The control is also one of the better buffs because, again, being able to interrupt these, and again, interrupt deafening mode of Thunder requires 20% less healing. So the Thundering, this is the one that's Thunder Team, you have to interrupt it with healing. So having this here lets you heal a lot better. This also reduces how much you have to heal, and being able to speed light makes it a bit easier, especially with abilities like... What is it, this one? When stepping into the material world, you receive 30% of the healing blocked by Requiem. Right? Requiem is the ability that like I said, blocks a lot of your healing. And this will get you 30% of that healing back when stepping into the material world, so you get a nice boost in healing. So that one's not that particularly great. Yeah, 3 seconds longer for the Harbinger's Barrier to reach full efficacy, and this one's Requiem takes 3 seconds longer, so this slows down the boss's abilities. Those are good. And a lot, like, so those bottom buffs, none of these are particularly great because they're on the bottom. You get to 2C. When heroes step to the material world, you receive Harbinger's Blessing again. But because it's what activates when you step to the material world, the faster you can step between worlds, the more often these buffs activate. Right, material world, so every time you step to the material world, you get extra healing. Like, so the faster you can speed through the different worlds, the faster, more often you can activate some of those buffs. When you interrupt a soul's motif, you get a speed up. And stepping between worlds, like I said, these ones, like I said, you would get you would reduce damage for 10% for 5 seconds if you step between worlds. This is actually a pretty good one with like a high-end speed light. Like 5%, that's not that big of a deal. Again, it's only a 5% bonus, and you receive 5%. This is not that pretty good. This actually is probably, this one's a pretty good one too. Like, I just didn't have the extra 50 points. If I had 50 more points to spend, I probably would have bought this one too. Because you get all incoming damage reduced by 10% for 5 seconds. Because we are switched between worlds every 10 seconds, this would be up half the time. So it's actually pretty significant. 10% bonus in Step Between Worlds. It's actually pretty good too. Probably should have took this because I didn't even think about like how much faster. Because it's been a long time since we've seen a tier, like an epic tier of this one. Usually it's way down here, so it's only like a 2-second reduction or whatever. It is on the bottom tier, so having a top 3, like the top tier here, but like actually makes a big difference there. But yeah, this is actually a pretty good one when you have that buff eye. This one, like I said, yeah, 10% bonus this ability, so you get more energy every time you switch between the material world. 10% is 1/10 of your ult, right? Or no, 10%, yeah, 10% bonus energy, so one stepping the side. So this gives you a nice 10% every time you switch between worlds, so actually does have good synergy with this one if you have a epic buff. Like I said, there's more buffs than you can ever buy, and unlike the Osh, the Eternal Keeper, the buffs in this one are generally better. There's several buffs against Osh that are just pretty much trash and never worth buying. Whereas, like, it's a lot harder. You have to choose your buffs more on this one. But, yeah, no, add Speed of Light, though, probably the best buff. Like, Secret Weapon, Strength Prevent, also pretty good. And At the Limit, those are all super good buffs. And the fact they're all on Epic tier this week just means you had to spend more points on them. And Power Over Life, I'd say, is probably would round out the top 5 buffs. In this mode, like if you want to know the top 5 buffs, like it's these 4 plus Power Over Life. Those are all really good. Plus the gold buff you always buy, and then depending on what other points you got, like yeah, these 2 are good. This one's actually pretty good too, and Perfect Storm's not bad. Through Prism's okay because every time you interrupt Soul's Motif, you get 10% speed up for 5 seconds. Reverie Given Form lets your heroes benefit from. When they step to the material world, they get the Harbinger's Barrier for 2 seconds. So, yeah, not too bad. Still haven't really found a strong like team for the Maestro. definitely something like said we've still like trying to figure this out. He's not solved like Osh is, but maybe someday we will. But yeah, if you want to know a bit more about like the Maestro, I've done a few videos about him, and you can find one of those down below. As always, thank you for watching.